Welcome to Exact Tech Arena at the Stephen C. O'Connell Center here on the campus of the University of Florida in Gainesville. It is the regional finals in women's gymnastics on the road to the national championships in a couple of weeks. I am John Roethlisberger, joined by Olympic silver medalist and NCAA champion Sam Pechik. This is our regional bracket. Utah, Michigan State advanced out of the first session on Friday, and Florida and Missouri advanced out of the evening session in what was a tight competition. Missouri just edges out the Georgia Bulldogs. Sam, it has been an incredible regional round of women's gymnastics.
There's been so much good gymnastics, a lot of craziness happening around the nation, but Oklahoma is still headed to the national championship, and they're still breaking records with that 49.8 on beam. Insane. Arkansas also qualified to nationals yesterday for the first time since 2018, and I think the biggest, most shocking news is 4 national seeds failed to qualify to the regional finals. So anything can happen here, and I'm willing to bet our regionals is going to have some excitement too, John.
Well, you said it, and let's talk about that, how tight this regional is going to be. You know, Florida, Utah, the favorites to advance, but based on what we've seen nationally and even here in Gainesville already, you can't assume anything.
Yeah, I mean, Florida's coming in as the highest ranked team, but Utah had the highest team score from the regional semifinals. However, I think Utah has the most amount of pressure because it's the only program in the nation that has qualified to every national championships. Then you have Missouri that's hungry to get back to nationals, and Michigan State is coming in hot with their first Big Ten championship win. So it's close since all 4 team scores from the regional semifinals were separated by less than half a point.
And just to give you another little perspective on how tight these teams are, this is just their first rotation event rankings. All 4 of these teams ranked in the top 8 in the nation on the respective event that they're starting the competition on. So this is going to be a great one, and it really feels like one of those meets that's going to come down to the last landing. We shall see. And this is how it's going to work today. 4 teams compete simultaneously. You'll actually see 2 routines going on at once on your screen. So that means you will get to see every routine being competed here today. The top 2 teams advance to the NCAA semifinals. Not a small note to keep in mind during this competition. There are 4 judges here at the regionals, as there were at the conference championships, which is different than the regular season. Only 2 judges in the regular season. So they drop the high and the low score. They average the 2 middle scores. And here we go with Michigan State starting off on vault with Skylar Schulte.
This is an important one. Yurchenko full nails the landing. Man, I woke up this morning, John, knowing that everyone is going to bring their best, and she delivered first athlete up. This meet is going to be exciting.
Utah starting on the uneven bars. This is McKenna Smith. Florida will be starting on balance beam, Missouri, and floor exercise. Over on beam, it'll be Skylar Drazer for the Gators. Freshman.
Really nice. Oh, no. McKenna Smith casting over. I really appreciate how aggressive she was going for those handstands, but that's a mistake. She didn't come off the bar, but definitely the score Utah is going to want to drop on bars.
Another good point, Sam, in women's gymnastics, 6 gymnasts on each event. You count the top 5 scores, so you can drop a low score or a major mistake like we just saw from McKenna Smith. That will not affect their team score as long as the next 5 gymnasts for Utah hit their routines. The pressure is on the Utes early. Sienna Schreiber, one of the stars of this Missouri team, really a hero in the second round of these regionals to get them to advance to the regional final. The best event, probably the balance beam, but here she is on floor exercise starting things off.
Man, Skylar Drazer does it again. She is just a freshman, and to be put in this leadoff spot all season long, delivered in the postseason, she's got ice in her veins.
Kayla Tucker, the second gymnast for Michigan State to go on vault. Schulte, a 9.85, a very good leadoff score. A score in the mid 9.8s, a 9.9 especially, a great starting score for any of these teams.
Chenko 1.5 on the right side of your screen. Slightly under rotated. This is an event for Michigan State that they need to capitalize. They came in with the second highest vault score from the regional semifinals, and it's a strength of theirs. So they got to get all the tens they can.
Sloan Blakely will be the second gymnast here on beam for the Gators. Tough spot to start normally for teams, the balance being so much pressure on it, Sam.
Yeah, there's two ways of looking at it, John. Exactly what you said, having a lot of pressure. And then there's the other side of the coin where you come into the meet, you are a little bit more calm. And if you can get through beam, then the rest of the meet is a little bit more like a party you can let loose on vault and floor.
(9-5) for McKenna Smith on bars for Utah, a score they will want to drop. Ella Zerbis will be the next gymnast to go. So 5 gymnasts to go for Utah, yet on bars. 5 scores count. They will have a tremendous amount of pressure on them on these next 5 routines. You do not want to dig yourself a hole early here tonight in what looks to be an incredibly closely matched competition.
Yeah, Ella Zerbs is just a freshman, so big moment for her right here. These teams cannot afford to count a fall. So, like you mentioned, so much pressure on the rest of the 5 athletes in this lineup. And it was a hit routine, not a stuck landing, but right now they just need to get through 4 more hit bar routines.
Alana Kratzer will be the next gymnast for Missouri in floor exercise. Still waiting for Sienna Schreiber's score to come in.
The Gators are looking calm on beam. Only the second athlete up, but I can't help but think back to SEC championships when head coach Jenny Rowland could pick which event to start on, and they purposely chose balance beam to have experience starting on this event in hopes that it would help them for key moments like the one you're looking at right now. So we all thought she was a little crazy in doing that at SEC championships, but she could be a genius because they are rocking here.
Yes, they are. Skylar Drazer led off with a 9.9, and Sloan Blakely just took care of business there in the 2 spot.
Alana's quick to those lunge positions after her tumbling. That's what's showing the judges do not take any deductions here.
Olivia Zarmani will be the third vaulter. A pair of scores in the 9.8s for the Spartans here on vault so far.
Now, I hate to say this, but I think the difference maker is going to be stuck landings on vault.
There you go, Sam.
What more could she do? That was incredible. Really great lift off the table, legs glued together, and she just knew exactly where that landing was.
Her teammate Tucker got a 9.825 for the same vault, but Zarmani stuck hers. You got to think this one's going to be in the 9.9s, maybe, just maybe as high as a 9.95, which would be huge for the Spartans here early.
Yeah, either way, they're building momentum, John, and this is a team that has been so close to making it to NCAA championships the last couple of years. You can hear it in the interviews. You see it in their demeanor. They want this.
Anya Pilgrim, the star freshman for the Gators. So many great freshmen around the country this year. Anya Pilgrim certainly in the conversation as one of the best. Kratzer finishing up that floor routine following Schreiber's 9.9, so a great start score there too. Utah, however, started with a 9.5. Their second score, a 9.825. Not bad, but keep in mind these other teams putting up 9.9s, 9.95 for Zarmani on vault. So the pressure builds for Utah. Amelie Morgan, the third gymnast here.
Yeah, Emily Morgan can do this routine in her sleep. That's a full twisting pack salto back to the low bar. Oh, wow. Really late twist. You can tell the nerves are showing up here on bars. Way to fight through it. Got the stuck landing. Not the best one we've seen from her, but man, they are using some willpower here.
Keep in mind, Utah has made every NCAA championship since the inception of the competition. 47. So you think there's a little pressure. You don't want to be on the first team that doesn't make it to nationals if you're a Utah Ute. And Horton getting ready to go here on floor exercise. Another outstanding freshman from the SEC.
Shannon Walter, Missouri's head coach, said that Hannah's just a freshman, but she's one of those athletes that doesn't know how good she is. And I've gotten the opportunity to watch her throughout this season grow. She's been getting better competitively with her technique. And when the green flag goes up, she is just on.
Speaking of on, the Gators are on balance beam. 9.925 for Sloan Blakely, and Anya Pilgrim might have just done the best routine of the rotation so far. Scores may build from there. Gabby Stephen now, the fourth gymnast from Michigan State, following that incredible 9.95 from Zarmani.
Gabby Stephen doing Yurchenko 1.5. It's a round off onto the board. Backhand put onto the table. Too much juice. And that's the hard thing, especially on vault. You have to imagine the nerves, the adrenaline, that adds some extra juice inside of you, that oomph factor. When you land, you have to control it.
That was a big step on that vault. If it's a step over 3 feet, and I've talked to some judges about this, it should be a 2/10 deduction. If they take that full 10, it's the eye of the beholder, though, and that means the eye of the judges. But they could take as much as 2/10 on that big step, and that means it would be down in that 9-8, maybe lower range, and that would be a tough one here in this regional final to have to count. Victoria Wynn taking a deep breath before she goes on her beam routine, waiting for Anya Pilgrim's score. Amelie Morgan, a 9.825. So a pair of 9.825s, and they still have that 9.5 looming. If you're looking at the right side of your screen, you see our score tower. Isn't it beautiful? It's amazing. And the slightly lighter scores, rather, are the ones that are the low scores currently for that team. So if you see Utah's score, you see that 9.5, slightly lighter shading. That means that's the score they will drop if the remaining scores are higher than that 9.5. Something to keep in mind.
Yeah, the interesting thing, John, is every Utah athlete got a 9.9 plus on the regional semifinals day. And they haven't put one up so far, but if you want to have a high score, you want Miley O'Keefe to go next. She is so good at that blind landing, really difficult, and she tends to do better when there's more pressure on her. So I had no worries she was going to make her set right there.
And that is really their first exclamation point routine, if you will. The first one that they really nailed the landing. Feels like their first 9.9 of this rotation, and man, they need it. Mari Celestine follows Hannah Horton's 9.9 here from Missouri on floor exercise. Victoria Wynn finishing up her beam routine.
Yeah, coaches say that her mindset and just competitive mentality has been so much stronger this year in comparison. Really putting up some big numbers for the Gators throughout the season.
Anya Pilgrim score 9.9. So all 9.9 are better for the Gators so far in beam. Trinity Thomas gives her a hug. She loves it. Nikki Smith follows Gabby Stevens, score of a 9.825. Looking for a couple big ones here are the Spartans. Finish off this vault rotation.
Yeah, again, this is an event that they can take advantage, getting a lead here. But they need 9.9 pluses. Nikki Smith can deliver. She's done it before. She got a 9.9 at the regional semifinals day. She's looking to repeat. Oh, no.
And that's devastating.
Yeah, that could have been a huge and really interesting. It almost looked perfectly placed, and she just miscalculated the timing there. John, what did you see?
Yeah, it looked like she wanted that stuck landing. Kind of opened up. You know, you pull those arms out of the twist and you start preparing them for the landing a little early on that vault. And that is what you're taking the risk in doing. And that's why you'll hear a lot of coaches rather say, take a step forward. Just plan on that small controlled step forward. And Got to give her credit for going for it, though. Celestine finishing up from Missouri on floor. Leanne Wong, the 5th gymnast to go for the Gators. Really, the Gators, the team right now that are lights out of these 4 teams. 9.925 for Victoria Wynn in the 4 spot. Their second 9.925 of the rotation. Miley O'Keefe, 9.875 is Grace McCallum, now the 5th gymnast to go. Still looking for their first 9.9 are the Utah Utes.
Yeah, seeing some nerves early. I'm surprised that we already have 2 falls in just the first rotation. Now, all 4 of these teams did have a fall during the semifinal day, but didn't have to count a fall. Perfect handstand from Grace McCallum on the right side of your screen. Beautiful swing. Talk about an athlete that's been in big pressure situations, the Olympic Games, and it shows. That's where the experience comes into play. Moments like this, it's no problem. She didn't look nervous at all, very composed. Utah needed that.
They needed that big time, although that last cast of handstand, Sam, looked a little flat. Could it be a half-tenth or a tenth? We'll let the judges decide that as Leanne Wong just takes care of business here on balance beam.
Oh, wow. Foot completely slipped off the beam.
That was savvy to stay on her feet, Sam. I saw that as well. Had to tuck that double full a little bit, but landed relatively clean.
Check this out. Her left heel is completely off the beam, essentially does a double full with one leg, half her foot. But, man, Leanne Wong's such a cat. She could find the landing and the ground no matter what, so definitely a deduction, but saved herself a significant one.
Kennedy Griffin on floor follows Celestine's 9.9, so 3 9.9s for Missouri on arguably their best event. Sage Kellerman now looking for one more hit fault for the Spartans. They don't want to count that 9.4 from Nikki Smith.
Sage got a 9.925. She is so good at sticking this fault every time. It's robotic. Every team in the country would die for a vault like Sage Kellerman's. It's so good, and it's so consistent.
And it was in a clutch moment for the Spartans. They not only needed a hit vault, but they needed that stuck landing. That Nikki Smith fall will likely hurt the team score, but probably not by more than a tenth of a point because they have 5 other good scores. So a little bit of a hit, but not terrible. Ellie Lazari will anchor this Gator beam rotation.
And this is an important routine, not because they're trying to erase a fall. Leanne Wong's is most likely the score that they'll want to drop. But if you're Florida, you want to get as many points early in this competition to have a little bit of a safety net.
9.8 for Leanne Wong. She should have got bonus for levitating that beam distance, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. Ellie was the 2021 SEC beam champion. She was crooked on that series, adjusted, did a couple poses to hopefully give the illusion she was straight on.
Alani Sabade on bars for Utah. Need a big hit here. They could be in fourth after.
They are absolutely going to have to count a fall. This is really devastating for Utah. They're in trouble. Not the rotation they're capable of. This is not what they wanted to do, especially in the first event. Man.
Wow, drama early. They will count, in my opinion. We'll see what Sabado gets on that bar team, but that 9.5 from McKenna Smith likely going to be the score that they're going to count. Almost certainly.
Yeah.
Here's what happens.
Sometimes when you're nervous, you pull in on your release move to make sure that you're going to catch, but she pulled in so much that she couldn't get enough swing into that second skill.
So Utah almost certainly going to be in fourth out of these 4 teams after the first rotation. Keep in mind, they put up a season high score on bars in round 2 of these regionals. Now over to the floor exercise. Jocelyn Moore. She's been perfect on this event. She follows near perfection from Kennedy Griffin's 9.95.
Yeah, look how quickly she gets to the lunge position. Oh no. Had a step back, little slide. There's so much pressure at these regional finals. It feels like a national championship 4 on the floor competition, and you're really seeing the nerves get to these athletes quite a bit. Missouri is in a similar place of Florida. They're just trying to get as many points to optimize the separation early on in this meet in case they have to fall back on that later in the competition. It's a good routine from Jocelyn Moore. They didn't necessarily need her score. It'll be interesting to see what the judges do with that first pass. Had a few shuffles with her feet when she landed. A little uncharacteristic. She's normally so solid with those landings.
Their low score right now is a 9.85 from Kratzer, so that will be the score that Jocelyn Moore will need to beat in order to raise that Missouri score of a 49.5. Still, 49.5, very good score for them. But I'm certain that every half-tenth, every tenth they can get, like you said, Sam, you want to squeeze it out of each routine.
Yeah, but if you're Florida, you're sitting in a good place. Not only do you have the highest score after one rotation, but they're done with beam, which a lot of times is the most nerve-wracking event in these pressure competitions.
Jenny Rowland, head coach for Florida, looking like a genius right now, practicing that starting on beam at the SEC Championships. Did it again here, 49.6. Outstanding score, very close to their season high. Let's take another look at Kennedy Griffin's 9.95, Sam, for Missouri on floor currently, their high score in that event.
Yeah, she's just a freshman, really dynamic athlete. Finishes with her chest vertical and her feet hit the ground. And really elevating the performance quality.
How about Zarmani on ball?
Yurchenko 1.5. They needed a stuck landing. She delivered. Just a little bit of excitement there. She deserved it. And then Sage Kellerman does it again. Hook by cash. Boom. Directly to that
on the bar. So not the way they wanted to start, Sam, and maybe just a little bit of nerves taking effect there.
Yeah, you're really seeing some uncharacteristic mistakes. Shuffling on those floor landings. We saw Nikki Smith sit down for Yurchenko 1.5. So it's really affecting their performances. And the goal here is how can they take a deep breath and handle the pressure? You want to focus on the muscle memory and how can you do your routines right here in this competition the same way you do in the gym?
Skylar Schulte now on bars for Michigan State. That is where they are this second rotation. Missouri moves from floor exercise over to vault. Same starting athlete, Sienna Schreiber. She did an amazing job on floor. Can she do it again here in vault?
She's so good at sticking this Yurchenko full.
Look
and
at
she's
you.
Able to do it again. They're looking for more stuck landings here than the regional semifinals. And actually was going to say the same thing about Michigan State on bars. They showed a little nerves in the previous competitions, and I'm looking for those vertical handstands and stuck landings from Michigan State on bars. They got to do that to stay in this competition.
Thought Utah had pressure on the uneven bars. That pressure has just been amplified because they are going to the balance beam now. Mind you, it's 4 inches wide, and mind you, their national championship hopes may be riding on this event right now. The good thing is they are tremendous here, a top 5 program. Multiple gymnasts capable of scoring a perfect 10 here, but they have got to bring it.
Triple series. And the interesting thing is the regional semifinals day, Utah got a season high on beam as well as bars, 49-6. They are such a beam team, but for them it's important to forget about the first event and do their normal beam.
Victoria wins, starting things off for the Gators. Now, keep in mind, the Gators are in first place, but they're less than 2/10 ahead of third. And they're, again, we're focusing on that second spot. You do not want to be third or fourth. So they've got some work to do. They got, as good as they were on beam, they've still have got to continue to keep that rolling.
Really nicely done from Amelie Morgan. It's the routine they needed to put them on the right track here on this event.
One of the captains of that Utah team and showing some leadership there, and a much needed positive start for them on beam.
Yeah, it really goes to show just how important that first routine, first athlete up for every event is, setting the tone and a good pace for these teams.
Grace Ann Davis follows Sienna Schreiber's 9.85 in her stop Yurchenko full.
Seeing another Yurchenko full. She does a really good job layering, extending those hips to find the landing.
Olivia Zarmani will be the second gymnast for Michigan State. Schulte just a 9.725 on her routine. 9.7s at this level of women's gymnastics are not scores that you want to count. It was not a missed routine, but if you're counting something less than a 9.8, 9.85, that is not going to help you advance.
Yeah, their head coach, Mike Rowe, said that sometimes when they get nervous, it shows up on bars. He said they tend to rush, especially in their touch warm-up, and the message to them is to just stay calm and relax. And again, we're not seeing those stuck landings that we need to be seeing from Michigan State on bars.
Amelie Morgan got a 9.9 in the leadoff spot for Utah. What poise, handling the pressure as they move to beam. Now McKenna Smith, the sophomore from Albuquerque, New Mexico, gets her shot. Ellie Lazari for the Gators over on the floor exercise.
Good poise from McKenna. She was the athlete that casted over John on that first rotation. So not only is it tough to put that past you, but when you make a mistake, you are just hungry to have a good routine, reset yourself, and she's doing a phenomenal job of that.
How about that Victoria win? 9.925. Start things off in Florida on floor exercise, just like they started off that uneven bar rotation. Or beam rotation, rather.
Stunning routine from McKenna Smith. Utah has to do everything in their power to be perfect as they can to make up some ground, and 2 for 2 so far. Really good work.
Kennedy Griffin with that big-time floor routine in rotation 1, takes to the vault, follows Grace Ann Davis's 9.8. So a couple scores in the 9.8s from Missouri. They're going to want to move those into the 9.9s here.
Yurchenko full, clean landing, just a slide, but good technique in the air. And another hit routine for Florida. They are on a roll.
The O-Dome is feeling it. The hometown crowd are giving it to the Gators, and they are feeling very comfortable here in their home arena. Sage Kellerman next on bars. Now a pair of 9.7s for Michigan State. They're going to have to count that 9.75 for sure. Said you don't want to count 9.7s. This is not a good trend for the Spartans currently.
Yeah, they really need some big scores. Sage Kellerman got a 9.925 on the regional semifinal day. She does such a good job being sharp with those handstands, nice distance away from the bar on the release moves.
Grace McCallum takes
good
the
so
lead.
far. Michigan State needs a stuck landing. Oh, so close. Just a little under-rotated. Looks like those dismounts, they're trying a little too hard on those landings.
Just let go of that bar a little early, which makes that double layout travel away from the bars and makes it that much more difficult to land. Grace McCallum moving nicely through her V routine after a McKenna Smith 9.9. Pair of 9.9s for Utah starting off this rotation. Anya Pilgrim on floor exercise, an event she had trouble on. A rare fall from her in the last round of these regionals.
Grace McCallum just didn't push through her feet on that layout. Under-rotated, landed with the Pike's hips, and couldn't quite save the series. Man, they're showing nerves for sure. Disappointing beam routine, and now there's a lot of pressure on the rest of the lineup. They have two of the best beam workers in the nation coming up next. Those are the athletes you want to go, but still not a position you want to be in.
Amari Celestine takes to the vault for Missouri, a 9.825 for Kennedy Griffin. I was about to say, Utah with these 9.9 starting off, they are going to catch Missouri and Michigan State in one rotation, the way the scores were trending for those both those two teams. However, that fall makes things real interesting here.
Now the back half of this Missouri lineup all got 9.9 the lap competition. They need to do it again.
That'll get a 9.9.
It looked exactly like that. She's 2 for 2, drilling the landing. Amari is just having a season, man. She's gotten better. She's finding those landings. I like how bent her knees are when she lands. Really does a nice job absorbing the mat.
Anya Pilgrim coming off an event with a smile is something we have become very accustomed to seeing watching this Gator team this year. 3 routines in now for Florida. Abby Stephen will be the next gymnast to go on bars for Michigan State. Now they have 3 scores in the 9.7s, a 9.725 to lead off. It has built 9.75 for the second one, then a 9.775, but absolutely not good enough to advance. Got to do better here with these last 3 routines.
Yeah, Gabby's capable of a much better routine than she showed on the semifinal day. This is looking nice so far. Handstands are much more patient, I'm noticing. But again, they need a stuck landing. Couldn't quite get it. Man, it's interesting how sometimes the sticks are just contagious, John, and then sometimes you can feel like there's just no way they can hold on to the landing.
Abby Paulson on beam for Utah. She has gotten a 10 this season. She's outstanding here. Just had a wobble, though. That was maybe a season-saving save right there. Sloan Blakely on bars follows Anya Pilgrim's 9.95. It just feels like a night that Florida's just going to do the job and advance. But the question is, what's that second team going to be?
Yeah, Florida's been looking for a meet like this, frankly. We've been watching them throughout the season. They've had a lot of new athletes in lineup. They've had a lot of interesting mistakes. And I think there was a lot of doubters for Florida this year. It seems like it's coming together at the right time.
Yeah, Jenny Rowland said this might be her staff's best coaching job since they've all been in Florida. They've had some challenges and certainly different roster. Kayla DiCello off trying to make an Olympic team. Trinity Thomas graduating. So they've really done an outstanding job to be where they're at right now on the cusp of other appearance in the NCAA championships. Jocelyn Moore now follows Amari Celestine's 9.925. I wouldn't have been surprised if it was even higher than that. It was outstanding.
Jocelyn, the 2023 SEC vault champion, 1.5. Nicely done. Not a stuck landing, but a really good, solid vault that Missouri is definitely going to count that for.
Tell you what, when Sloan Blakely is on, she is such a big factor for this Gator team, not just with her gymnastics, but her emotion and her energy just seems contagious, and it's working for her tonight.
Yeah, she has that swag when she's on. Like, look at me. I am on a roll.
Miley O'Keefe now, the veteran of this Utah team, NCAA champion in the all-around and on the balance beam, and she has gotten multiple 10s on this event. And if there was ever a time for perfection, Miley O'Keefe in Utah, it is right now. And the same can be said for Nikki Smith, the 4th score in the 9.7s for the Spartans here in bars.
It's just these dismounts for Michigan State. Everything on the bar is looking good. Their handstands are solid, and that's what they needed. First stuck bar routine so far. A lot of 9.7, so they're going to have to work themselves out of this hole, frankly.
Danny Ferris will be the next Gator on the floor exercise.
Head coach Carly Dockendorf for Utah said that something they've been working on with Miley is absolutely not her skill. She's got those covered. She's been doing them since she's been 10, but about not putting so much pressure on each skill because you can't be fully present. You see that hop back again. They've got a lot of pressure on the line here.
That was an absolutely sensational routine. Maybe a half-tenth slide back of the heels on that dismount. They needed that one. Abby Paulson, a 9.85. Probably a little disappointing for her. She's used to being in those 9.9s to 10 range. Miley O'Keefe, though, big-time routine there. Hannah Horton on vault. Jocelyn Moore put up a 9.875. Looking for a big one here are the Tigers.
Need a 9.9 plus. Not quite gonna do it most likely since she took a hop backward, showing the judges that she was under-rotated. We're being so picky right now because that's gonna be the difference at the end of this meet. Although Missouri and Florida seem to be cruising right now.
Florida Gators, 9 out of 10 scores in this competition have been 9.9 or better. That's a good thing if you're the Jenny Rowland and the Gators.
Yeah, she looks relaxed, John. I saw her on the side, and she's breathing easy over there.
Jaylene Gilstrap will be the anchor gymnast for Utah. Danny Ferris, the freshman, been outstanding this year as well. Does her job on floor exercise. 9.95 for Miley O'Keefe. So just that little heel slide, that half-tenth heel slide, the only deduction there. Right now, they have 4 scores that are averaging a 9.9 for Utah on beam. So Jaylene Gilstrap hits here. You can put up a big 9.9 plus. That'll be a tremendous team score for them. And keep in mind, Michigan State here on bars, as Delaney Harkness takes to the event, have only gotten 1 score above a 9.8. That's Nikki Smith, 9.85. So chance to make a move here for Utah, as difficult as things have been so far.
Yeah, Michigan State needs above a 9.9. Nice handstands from Delaney so far. Good rhythm in this routine. Locks that one in. She's got to spot the landing. Hop back again.
You know, Sam, I'm curious. I see that 4-inch mat, and it's on top of a sting mat for Michigan State for their landings on bars. And I'm not certainly going to second guess anything here, but I don't usually see that. It's usually just that 4-inch mat. I'm not sure if that's normal for them or. I imagine they're not going to change anything here at the regionals, but I'm curious. I have not seen that typically.
Yeah, usually you're competing on exactly how you practice. So to your point, don't want to change anything here, but usually the harder the surface, the easier it is to stick.
Danny Ferris, a 9.925 with one of the best in the world, not just the best in collegiate gymnastics, the best in the world. Again, long yet to go.
Jaylene Gilstrap finishing up. She got a 9.7 on the regional semifinal day. If she sticks this, it's certainly better than that. And a
deduction. Yeah, they're going to have a deduction on that landing at the end, but otherwise, it's going to be right around that 9.9 range, which this is going to be very interesting. Missouri only one score above 9.9 on vault and no scores for Michigan State above 9.9 on bars. So we could see a big-time shuffling of these standings. As crazy as things have been, Utah is likely going to move up.
See it in Leanne's face. She's in business mode right now. Opens double layout. There's no one in the NCAA that has better posture than Leanne Wong. Florida's floor total, 49.6, is already better than their floor NQS. So a hit from Leanne could only slightly increase that.
Yeah, you can see that lightly shaded 9.9. Nice if that's your low score that you get to drop.
And it's looking like that'll be the case. Her leotard popped off on the back.
It looked like it bothered her, though.
Yeah. It's little things like that that can sometimes be a distraction, but you got to imagine, look, they're fixing her Leo right now. I wonder when that came unsnapped. It's on during this pass. Opens double layout. Finishes that last pass, no problems, even with her leotard unsnapped.
Leanne Wong, a bronze medalist at the 2021 World Championships on floor exercise, a silver medalist at that competition in the all-around. Just gives you an idea of what kind of caliber of athlete she is, and she has got hopes of competing in Paris later this summer, trying to make that Olympic team as well while she juggles school and collegiate season. Leanne Wong, a 9.95 for that third place spot with that outstanding floor rotation. Meanwhile, Missouri maintains the second spot, but that's where we get a little flip-flop, no pun intended. Michigan State moves to fourth. Utah moves into the third spot. Now Utah only 3.5 tenths behind second. They were 5.5 tenths out of that second spot, Sam. A lot of drama again in this second rotation. It looked like Utah for a moment was dead in the water with that fall from Grace McCallum, but they get 5 good scores and they're still right in it.
Yeah, they've had a lot of confidence and swagger on beam. So if there's any event for them to go next after counting fall, it's definitely balance beam. They're chipping away. I would not count them out yet at all. They're going to continue to do the work and get as many tenths as possible throughout the next 2 rotations. And I think what we saw with Michigan State on bars is the importance of the details, those stuck landings. If you don't stick any, it adds up. And that's really what we saw from Michigan State on bars, even though they didn't have a fall.
And there's really no question which team has been the best so far here tonight, and it's the Florida Gators.
Yeah, it looks like they're just having a smooth competition. The stars are aligning. They really haven't had any hiccups, not many wobbles. And then, of course, you have Leanne Wong as your anchor, and it just looks so easy for her. Double layout, finishing last pass. And then Miley O'Keefe does it again. Not quite a perfect 10, which is what we've seen so many times from her, but a 9.95. And Utah needed that from her. So still able to put up those big numbers even under an immense amount of pressure for Utah.
Yeah, 3 clutch routines for Utah after that Grace McCallum fall. Paulson, O'Keefe, and Gilstrap get it done there. Here's what you're looking at for the third rotation, the event rankings of these teams, all top 14 rankings. You know, Florida, they're rolling already. Now they go to an event where they're third in the nation. Adrian Burdett, the gentleman in the white shirt right there setting the vault, told me earlier this season he thinks they're the best vault team in the country. Well, if they show that now, this might just be academic for them qualifying into the NCAA championships.
Yeah, and they also got the highest vault score, John, coming in to this competition from the regional semifinal. But I think that vault is an event that has the most inconsistency. Hopping out of those landings or under rotating, it's the riskiest event for me here in this postseason.
They're going to lead things off with freshman Skylar Drazer.
Oh, not risky for Skylar Drazer. She's just money. I'm so impressed with her. They have to be so happy for that recruit and getting her on their team. She's just delivered perfection throughout the postseason and makes it no big deal. Palm cool and collected every time she goes.
I believe we saw that same thing in the regional semifinals in the leadoff spot for Florida on vault. Just automatic. Moving over to the bars. This is Kira Burns, the senior from Blue Springs, Missouri. Gianna Khalifi will start things off. She is a senior from Pomona, California. Really important event for Michigan State here. Had some room for improvement from the regional semifinals. They're going to have to do it really well here now.
A really nice leadoff routine from Kira in Missouri. This is one of their best events, so if they can put up solid numbers, they're going to feel really comfortable going into that last event.
McKenna Smith will lead things off for Utah on floor exercise now. An event, they're top 5 on this event as well. They have a high of 49.7 this season on this event, and right now is the time. They put up a season high in the regional semifinals on bars. They need to do that right here on floor, and they will be right back in that front, even tighter than they are now.
Yeah, it's their highest ranked event, John. They have a lot of confidence, so I'm curious to see if they look that cool with the added pressure of the competition.
Great finish from Khalifi and Michigan State. The all-important lead-off routine, especially in balance speed. Victoria Wynn, the second gymnast here on vault, follows another 9.925 from Skylar Drazer, the same score she got in the semifinal.
Victoria Wynn's doing a Yurchenko 1.5. Just keeps getting better at that vault. What impressed me there is she was actually really under-rotated and knew exactly where she was in the air. So when her feet landed, she had that quick twitch reaction to quickly pull up and minimize any possible deduction. Veteran move there.
Yeah, just that small shuffle of the feet. You see that shuffle that tiny. It's probably a half-tenth deduction. Good start for Utah on floor. Kayla Tucker, Fishers, Indiana native and a freshman. Second to go here on balance beam. Still waiting for that Khalifi score, her teammate in the leadoff spot. It's a 9-9, just what the Spartans needed. Patrick, the second to go.
Michigan State has scored a 49.6 as their high beam score, so they have the potential to keep building from Gianna's 9-9. They do so many pressure sets in the gym, and the key for them is really their rhythm. Their lineup, start to finish, that's been the key ingredient for all of these Michigan State athletes, is to focus on the rhythm. It's a key indicator to know if they're thinking too much, and Michaela Tucker's doing a really nice job keeping the rhythm consistent. That step back on the landing.
For Holland Patrick in Missouri, 2 hits, just that little slide, as Sam mentioned, on that dismount. 4 more to go for them.
Quick step back to salute for Michaela Tucker. They've got to put up some big scores here on beam.
Yeah, little things like that turn, that step turn on that dismount will be a deduction. So little things they can't afford. Their margin for error has really shrunk after their last rotation. Anya Pilgrim follows Victoria wins 9.9. McKenna Smith led off Utah with a 9.9 as Abby Paulson now goes for Utah on floor exercise.
Anya Pilgrim's 1.5. Floating to the landing there. Good distance away from the table. Half of that Florida lineup is freshmen. They're getting a lot of good experience competitively under these pressure situations for the next 3 years. So, job well done for them.
Nikki Smith will be the next to go on balance beam.
Abby's hoping to better that 9-9, keep those scores building for Utah to push that top 2. Nikki Smith's doing the same on beam. Looks a little off in the series.
What a save.
They're usually such an aggressive beam group. And when you're nervous, you play tight. And that's what you don't want to have happen on beam.
Amaya Marshall, the next to go from Missouri. Just an interesting note to watch. So Utah trying to chase down Missouri. So compare their scores. Kira Burns led off with a 9.825. McKenna Smith for Utah a 9.9. Holland Patrick, the second one to go, a 9.8. Well, how does Abby Paulson's score compare to that one? Keep track on that left side. You get an idea how tight this is.
Yeah, but Amaya Marshall's cruising here on this bar routine. Very high release moves. She's locking in those handstands, and again, it's going to come down to the dismount. She's able to get the job done. It's going to be a really big score for Amaya Marshall in Missouri on bars.
Good routine from Nikki Smith. Had that wobble and then a tiny movement on the foot on that landing. So 2 deductions that are going to keep her certainly in the 9.8s, probably low 9.8s. Back over to floor exercise. Jaden Rucker, Abby Paulson, a career high score of a 9.95. Anybody who rode off the Utes after some early troubles might be sorely mistaken as Danny Ferris for Florida on ball.
Big Yurchenko 1.5. Look how far she is on the landing mat. I think Adrienne Burde, their coach, actually had to take a step back because she had so much distance. Jaden Rucker opens with that e-telling pass, has to take a step forward. In the regional semifinal, Jaden got a 9.875, but before that, she scored 9.9 plus on all 6 of her routines at the Pac-12 championships in the NCAA regional rounds. So really showing a lot of consistency from her on floor this year.
Skylar Schulte getting ready to go on balance beam, waiting for that Nikki Smith score. Maya Marshall, 9.875. Quite breaking that 9.9 barrier.
Yeah, that felt low to me. Skylar Schulte on beam. Head coach Mike Rowe from Michigan State said some of the strengths of this team is that they're competitive, they're great motivators, but more importantly, they're gritty. And that's what we really need to see from Skyla and the rest of this beam lineup here.
Nikki Smith, a 9.75. They had a number of those scores in the 9.7s on bars. Do not want to count another one. Sienna Schreiber over on the uneven bars. Follows Maya Marshall's 9.875. 3 to go here for Missouri.
Sienna's so light and effortless when she works bars. Finishing double layout, hop back. Man, you see it on their face too. They land and they're trying to keep a smile because you want to sell it, but at the same time, you're like, shoot, I knew I needed that duck landing.
Leanne Wong now on vault. Follows Danny Ferris's 9.9. Leanne Wong's got a unique vault here, but the thing I'm still waiting to see, Sam, is that stone cold stuck landing from her. Something she does not do all that often on this event. Jaylene Gilstrap on floor exercise for Utah. They're rolling there.
Round off half on the table, pike half off. You can't be perfect at everything, John. It's pretty perfect in the air. Just the landing you mentioned.
You look at the scores on the right-hand side now. Missouri and Utah only separated now by a 10.5. Keep in mind, they get to drop the low score on their respective events, but that'll give you a general idea of how this thing is tightening up.
Yeah, and if you're Utah, you actually want a lead going into vault. It's been a lower scoring event and a little bit harder to have that guaranteed consistent skills.
Bailey Garcia, the Big Ten champ, on the balance beam, rather the first since 1996 from Michigan State. There's a high of a 9.925 this season. They need her to hit a grand slam here. Skylar Schulte, a 9.85 for her moments ago.
Bailey had a fall in the regional semifinals, so also looking for redemption if there wasn't enough pressure.
Oh, man, it's just not going well for Michigan State here in these last two rotations.
She really rushed that layout. Didn't get her arms by her ears to center up before the landing.
Utah rolling on floor exercise. That puts the pressure on this uneven bar rotation. And Jocelyn Moore, fourth gymnast to go, Sienna Schreiber, a 9.85. So no 9.9 pluses for Missouri yet here on this event.
Huge to Tkachev immediately to that overshoot. The key for her on bars is to not think about that stick. Take a deep breath before you go for it and let it happen. She made it work. Our coach Whitney Snowden with the big hugs over there.
Ellie Lazari anchoring this vault rotation. Leanne Wong, a 9.925. I was actually surprised to see it that high. Had a couple little slides of the feet, but
yeah,
it is an outstanding vault and very difficult vault. Miley O'Keefe on the right-hand side of your screen for Utah will be the 5th gymnast to go. Jaylene Gilstrap, a 9.95. Look at Utah and Missouri's scores on the right hand of your screen. Now just a half-tenth separating the two.
Man, it's a ball game. Ellie doesn't even need to count this score most likely, but good practice for NCAA championships, and that just keeps getting better. We saw Adrian Berde early in the season, and he was telling us he believed in this vault team. He believed what they're capable of, and look at those numbers. We're seeing those results.
Yeah, Florida having a night. They dropped a low score of a 9-9 on their last rotation, the floor exercise, and right now their low score on vault is a 9.875. Jocelyn Moore, a 9.85 on the bars for Missouri. Just one gymnast to go there. Gabby Stevens from Michigan State, the anchor on balance beam, waiting for that Bailey Garcia score. She did fall, so that is a score Gabby is going to want to help drop from their team total. It feels like if they count a fall here, it's all but over for Michigan State.
Yeah, Gabby is typically really good under pressure. She was in this exact position in the regional semifinals following a fall. The important thing for her to do is focus on her mental choreography. You say the same things to yourself every time, and when you're in a meet setting, it's really important to still say the same things to yourself. It's impossible to think two things at once. So if you're thinking about your corrections and your cues, you're not thinking about how much pressure there's on you.
Mara Cheater-Soli, the final gymnast for Missouri on bars. She has been perfect on this event. She puts on a clinic here, and she needs to put on a clinic as the Utah Utes are surging, trying to take that second spot away from the Missouri Tigers.
Yeah, she has just such fluid and graceful gymnastics. That pirouette, quick with her hands, and then she milks it on top of the bar. That's what makes her stand out. Oh no, Gabby Stevens fall in a series. That is not good for Michigan State.
And there is one event to go, but it feels like that is just about going to do it for the Spartans.
Yeah, you can see the whole team. The wind is really taken out of their sails.
O'Keefe a 9.925. As Grace McCallum had trouble in balance beam last rotation, she takes to the floor. Gabby Stevens finishes up on beam.
You could just see it on their faces. It's not at all the meet they wanted to have, what they were prepared to do, and the importance of that mental toughness in these critical moments. Two flips, one twist, had to take a step forward. Should be a deduction. You want to take a step backwards to a lunge for no deduction.
Grace McCallum gets a 9.925 or better. And this floor routine, get a load of this, Sam. Utah will move into second place after this third rotation.
Woo-hoo.
Mara Cheater-Soli, a 9.875. And that is a relatively disappointing score for her. Not used to being below 9.9.
And that was a phenomenal routine. She should absolutely get that score, John. I expect Utah to be in that second place spot. They've got to be riding high going into that last event. Here's the biggest deduction I saw in the routines, that step forward, but finishes strong with combination pass, the step back and lunge for no deduction.
Resiliency is what I would say about Utah right now. Could not have gotten a worse start to this competition. Continued to take those troubles over to Beam. But on floor exercise, they said, not so fast, my friend. We've made 47 straight national championships for a reason, and we're not letting that streak go by the wayside just yet. Gabby Stevens, a 9.325 on her beam routine. Unfortunately, they will count that. Florida clearly going to stay in that top spot. They counted all 9 nines or better on vault. The NCAA Gymnastics Championships begin Thursday, April 18th with the semifinals on ESPN2, and then the finals return to ABC on Saturday, April 20th. With the preview show at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time and the championship competition at 4 Eastern. For more information on all 90 NCAA championships, visit ncaa.com. Your meet summary. Hoo-wee. Utah, after that first rotation, they were in dead last. And the story of the night so far is that they have moved into a tie with Missouri for the final qualifying spot into the NCAA semifinals. Florida, just take a seat and relax. They are in first, and they have looked dominant throughout this competition from start to finish. Sam, this competition so far, first three rotations. First of all, have you caught your breath, and what do you think?
Man, I want to say I'm speechless, but unfortunately I can't be speechless here today. But great competition and the grit from the Utah athletes. They've been chipping away every single routine. Their game face is on. They're focused on the details, and they're not letting the rest of the pressure get to them. Very impressive.
Well, let's look at some highlights, and let's start with the top team. The Florida Gators continue to roll on that last one.
Yeah, Skylar Dracer, that freshman that continues to deliver. Her future is bright. Her future's already bright. It's Leanne Wong, who's at the end of that lineup delivering big scores, and Ellie Lazari with the anchor spot. Another clean Yurchenko, 1.5 for the Gators. And Utah, impressive floor lineup. They've really performed how they've been doing floor all season long, just really comfortable, confident, and showing that swagger from start to finish. Jaylene with the artistry.
So Missouri goes to balance beam, Sam, where most of the season it has been their nemesis. However, the last 4 meets, they have improved every meet, and they had to come through on Friday night to advance here to Sunday. And see the scores there. Sam, what is it that Missouri has done? How have they changed that momentum on balance beam to the point where, hey, they can clinch the spot on this event?
Well, you see head coach Shannon Welker right there, and he told us, we don't think it's a quote-unquote thing about our balance beam. We knew we had the right people. It was just figuring out the right and correct lineup spots. They feel like they have some synergy and chemistry with this beam lineup. You see beam coach Lacey Rubin giving them a pep talk, and what works for them is to have fun. So watch on the sidelines. If the energy looks light and fun, it's a good indicator that they're going to show up and do their job today.
I tell you what, trying to clinch a berth in the NCAA championships on beam, it makes me break out into a cold sweat. And I've never even done the balance beam. I can't imagine the pressure that the Tigers are feeling. We will get to them in a moment. But right now, Utah, the team that Missouri is tied with, they are on the vault. An event that they ranked 7th in the nation on. Olympian Grace McCallum leading things off.
I actually think vault would be a little bit more pressure to end on in this competition, for me at least. Utah's off to a good start, but
Sloan Blakely starting for the Gators on bars.
That big hop backward, they need to minimize deduction. And Flo's on a roll. She is just having a night, and she knows it.
And she had trouble on bars in the regional semifinals. Not today. So we're going to be alternating between Utah's vault and Missouri's beam in the left-hand box at your screen. So back and forth between the two teams that are trying to clinch that second spot, assuming Florida continues to do what they do. It's going to be between these two teams to earn that berth. Here's Grace Ann Davis from Missouri and Ellie Beaufait from Michigan State.
Grace Ann Davis doing a good job staying calm. You have to know that they looked at the scoreboard. Oh no, big wobble from Grace Ann Davis on beam. You can tell she's playing a little tight. That's the opposite approach of what you want to do on beam. You got to attack the beam. Usually when you're
How do you do that? How do you do that, Sam, in that situation? You've been in this situation. It seems almost impossible.
Yeah, you got to take a big, deep breath. Focus on your muscle memory. And just think one thing at a time.
Second vaulter, Elizabeth now follows Grace McCallum's 9.85.
Ella continues to grow every single week. Been working on handling the pressure. Almost a stuck landing. That would have been big time for Utah. Still a good vault, even with that step back.
I'll be curious to see what the judges do with that. That small little shuffle, I think we saw a slight under rotation from Victoria Wynn's vault. She still scored really well on it. Went over a 9. She got a 9.9 actually. That one a little shorter. I'll be curious to see if she can break a 9.9 or if that'll be in the 9.8s.
Yeah, my guess is it's going to be in that high 9.8 range. Different from Victoria Wynn, who quickly got to that vertical position with her chest. Elizabeth is a little bit more under-rotated, John.
Speaking of Victoria Wynn, here she is on bars following Sloan Blakely's 9.875. The Florida Gators just need to hit 5 decent bar routines. They don't even have to be lights out, and they will advance. The drama, though, Missouri and Utah has Rena Light, a very important routine for the Tigers here. She's been put in for her consistency. Needs to be consistent here.
On beam is spotting the end of the beam, squeezing those arms. Oh no.
Wow.
There are so many falls in this meet, and I think that really is a product of the pressure they're feeling with this regional bracket scheduling, if you will. All these teams are so good. They know that they really can't afford to count a fall.
Kayla Tucker on the floor exercise. Follows Ellie Beaufait's 9.85. Michigan State just needs some mistakes from the teams in front of them. Utah and Missouri in particular. Missouri just gave away one here. Which won't kill them as long as they can hit 5 routines.
This is not an event that Missouri's been bulletproof on, so you want to hope that it's not puncturing their confidence too badly over there.
A pair of 9.85s to start things off for Utah on vault. So a good start for them. Ashley Glenn will be the 3rd gymnast to go. Utah did have a fall in the semifinals on this event from Jaden Rucker. However, that is a rarity. And if you're Missouri, don't count on getting any help from Utah in the form of mistakes. Missouri is going to have to be great the rest of the way.
Rychenko 1.5, nicely done. That one step forward in the right direction is what they call it. And after Grace Ann Davis's start and Reina's fall on beam, Missouri's has to be lights out from here on out.
Yeah, it really feels like a day that Utah, they're going to put these vaults on their feet. It's just a question of how clean are those landings. And that step forward we just saw, Sam, it feels like the coaches are saying, don't try to stick. Just take the step and we will be okay. Kennedy Griffin the next to go. She's following Raina Light's ball. 4 gymnasts to go on beam, and you got to think the pressure has never been bigger for these 4 athletes. Ellie Lazari follows Victoria Wins 9.85. What a disappointing bar rotation. No 9.9s yet for the Gators. Jeez, what's wrong?
They're just getting warmed up, John, I'm imagining. But if you're Florida, you just want to hit your routine. You're in a really good spot. And it's good practice, again, for NCAA championship. Pull in. Needing to get the chest up. Hair more to sink into the mat. But Owen's feeling good over there.
Yeah, you just beat me to it. And Owen Field, the coach right there, he's the best cheerleader on the floor right now for the Gators. And he knows, just hit 2 more out of these last 3, and they will be in Fort Worth for the NCAA semifinals. Little wobble there.
Kennedy Griffin, wobble, missed connection, had to repeat. So it's not going to be as big of a deduction as a fall, but definitely a significant one, since she did have to go back and repeat her series in order to get the requirement. And Kennedy's score is absolutely going to count. So props to her for repeating and doing it successfully the second time around.
Gabby Stephen on the floor for Michigan State. They got a 9.9 from Kayla Tucker. It's a good routine, Sam, but it's not good enough. They're going to have to be a little bit better. Had a little error, as you mentioned, on the beam, and then took that step. And in normal circumstances, that's very good. But right now, Utah on vault, 2 9.85s and a 9.9. Missouri's got to do better with 3 to go. Feels like they've got to put up 9.9s the rest of the way.
Yeah, Utah's going to work here on vault. Last and final event. They know what's on the line, John.
Yep, McKenna Smith.
She struggled early on in the competition. Head coach Carly Dockendorf, you can just see the emotion from them. I bet they're going to sleep well tonight if they make it to NCAA championships. What a roller coaster this meet has been for Utah, starting in the hole and working their way out.
You mentioned it. McKenna Smith was that first bar routine that had the mistake, just a 9.5. And the mistakes just kind of collected there in the first rotation and a half. But since then, they look like one of the top 5 teams in the country. Sydney Schaefer from Missouri, Anya Pilgrim for Florida. Anya, the 4th Gator bar routine, a 9.875 for Ellie Lazari.
Anya had a 10 from 2 judges during the second round competition. She has such beautiful lines, good extension in those handstands. Can she lock it in again? She does.
Sydney Schaefer now on balance beam. McKenna Smith for Utah on vault, a 9.95. Kennedy Griffin, though, a 9.775. So right now, Missouri is going to have to count a 9.8 and a 9.775, while Utah, they could drop a 9.85 if they keep doing what they're doing. This is a troubled situation for the Missouri Tigers now.
Sydney Schaefer had a fall in the second round, but she's looking really solid so far in this beam routine. Michigan
Delaney
State.
Harkness. Yep, go ahead, Sam.
Yeah, from Michigan State. I mean, they're just so fun to watch on this event. Hoping that they can celebrate a job well done this postseason. Sydney needs to get the stick here if they want a shot to catch Utah. It's
Yep.
going to be a deduction.
Half-tenth hop, but it should be their first 9.9, I would guess. Maybe as high as a 9.95. That's a big jump, though, for the judges to go from a 9.775 to a 9.95. Jaden Rucker on vault. She is the one that had a fall in the regional semifinals on Friday. That is an unusual circumstance for Jaden. She is usually very consistent on this event.
The program record for most 10s on vault in the season. It's just so big. She stuck it. That's how you want to come back from a fall in this clutch moment. Utah is looking like they have the momentum and nothing's going to stop them.
They might not need Amelie Morgan's vault in the 6th spot. A couple of stuck landings. And Sam, we just got done talking about how they may have been instructed to just play it safe, take those steps forward. But Jaden Rucker and McKenna Smith said, I'm going to go for perfection.
You heard it. She's excited. She's ready. She's going to do Amari Gymnastics, and hopefully it's the best she's got.
Amari's going to need to do perfect gymnastics. Still waiting for that Sydney Schaefer score. Just a 9.85. And certainly they can drop that 9.0. So the totals on the right for Missouri right now reflect that 9.0 in their team score. Skylar Drazer just finishes strong for Florida. So they will drop that 9.0 if they get 2 more hits, but I still don't even know if it's going to be enough with 2 perfect 10s here from these last 2 athletes from Missouri.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing. They obviously don't know that, and thinking about that would probably be the worst thing you could do before you're saluting on beam.
Jaden Rucker at 9.95. Nikki Smith on floor, big full end.
Amari Celestine having to repeat this series, not a good sign. Back handspring to the side aerial. Unique combination. Big front tuck. And Nikki Smith just giving it all she's got on floor. Good finish from Amari Celestine. Still, to your point, John, not sure if it's going to be enough here.
Just Sienna Shriver yet to go for Missouri on balance beam, the hero from the semifinals. Jaylene Gilstrap, the anchor. This likely is academic for Utah.
Yeah, and I got to give props here to head coach Carly Dockendorf. Grace McCallum doesn't normally lead off this event. They changed the lineup for strategy, and it's really working out for them. Talk about a coach that knows her athletes. Under-rotated, trying to go for the stick, but don't think they really needed that score the way things are panning out.
Yeah, they are not going to count that Yurchenko 4 from Gilstrap. Still waiting for that Amari Celestine beam score. Sienna Shriver needed better than a 9.825 in the semifinals. Last up on beam to get her team to this final, and she delivered. And Wong on bars, finishing things off for the Gators. They're going to the NCAA championships.
Yeah, really beautiful, milking these handstands. it would be an exclamation point to get the stick, and she does it again. It's too easy for her.
The hometown crowd in the O-Dome loving it. Amari Celestine, a 9.875. Sienna Shriver in the Missouri Tigers cannot catch Utah. Could not make the magic here on balance beam, an event that has given them trouble all season. They look like they got it right, and they're heading in the right direction. Unfortunately, today, Sam, it didn't go their way in this rotation.
Yeah, it's an event that was giving them a little bit of trouble, and to finish on beam with so much pressure, it's tough to do. But Skylar Schulte on floor, one of my favorite floor teams in the NCAA. Can't wait to pay this off. She deserves it. Open, tuck ball in to a perfect stick. Sienna Shriver is a beamer. She's their anchor. You know, they knew it was going to be close. She is so even-keeled. I rarely see her emotional, and you know they feel all the feels, knowing that they unfortunately did not qualify. Wow.
Skylar Schulte here on floor exercise will not go to the NCAA championships with her team, but she will go to perform that floor routine again, Sam. She will be there as an individual. Certainly bittersweet for her, but a lot of fun for fans of gymnastics to get to see her perform that one more time.
And well-deserved. Such a good floor routine. It's the perfect combination of amazing tumbling, that performance quality, and it just sucks you in. You can't help but watch.
And it looks like unofficially Nikki Smith from Michigan State will join Skylar Schulte on a couple of events as well at the NCAA championships. But what do you got to say about Utah? A lot of these teams across the country talk about being blue collar and gritty and fighters. And I haven't heard that a lot about Utah, but they were absolutely that here tonight.
If I'm any other team at NCAA championships, I'm scared of Utah, because if they can start in the hole with that much pressure, anything from here on out is going to be so much easier for them.
Make it 48, Sam. It was 47 in a row. It's 48 now. And is there a more impressive streak in all of women's gymnastics than that? Utah has never missed an NCAA championship. Well, there you go. Utah and Florida, the top two seeds. It looked like that was going to get toppled. Looked like Michigan State or Missouri might be the teams to advance, but that veteran Utah team and the Florida Gators here at home just, we're not going to let that happen. Still more gymnastics tonight. The last regional to be decided, Denver, Arizona State, Cal, and Stanford. They're going to be out west in that California regional, 8 p.m. Eastern time on ESPN+. And this is what it looks like currently before we get that last regional done. LSU and Arkansas waiting to find out who they're going to take on, but that's session 2. Look at that, Sam. Sam, how would you like to roll into that? 4 teams ranked in the top 8, and Oklahoma, the defending champ.
I mean, it was just a fight to compete here at the NCAA championships and actually get top 3 or to be the #1 team. Man, it's going to be tough.
So we are joined. I've got to think this is the happiest person in the arena right now. I know Florida won the meet, but Carly Doggendorf, first year as the head coach. Walk us through tonight's meet because it was a roller coaster, to say it lightly.
Well, can I skip some parts? Is that okay? Or do I have to go through all of it?
You got to tell us all of it.
Yeah, definitely not the start that we envisioned having. We had an awesome warm-up today. The team looked so dialed in and focused. And, McKenna's mistake was an aggressive mistake. And that's, we do talk about that. If you're going to go big, like make a mistake where you're really just going hard for it. And she did. And unfortunately, then Alani got a little bit tight at the end. But the thing about this team is they're fighters. They will not give up on anything, and they fought to the very end. I thought we did an excellent job on beam. Jalen Gilstrap has not been in beam for a long time, and I reminded her before she went, she was in this exact position last year when we were at the UCLA regionals. It came down to her because we had already had a fall, and she was incredible. She steps up to the plate and did it. And we knew going to floor, that's been our strength this whole year, and we just needed to go out and do our normal Utah floor routines and just bring it home on vault. Couldn't be more proud of this team tonight.
Well, you guys started in the hole on bars. I got to know, what did you tell them going to the next event? Because they flipped a switch to turn it on.
I said to them, we all made it through the fall. This fall was really challenging for all of us. And if we were able to survive that and come out and do what we've accomplished this year, that this moment was nothing compared to that. And we just used that as fuel, and we just kept marching forward.
For you guys to come back from that big of a deficit, what does it say about your team heading into the NCAA championship?
They're just such strong women. Obviously they're incredible athletes, but it just speaks to their character and who they are as people, that they believe so much in one another and want to do this for one another and for themselves. And that kind of courage and that kind of strength, can't just be taught. It's something that's developed over time, and they've really had to, learn that this year.
Well, congratulations, Carly. First-year head coach, and may I say to you, and be the first one to say it, good luck at the NCAA championships.
Thank you. Go Utes.
Let's take a look at Utah's night, Sam, and it didn't start well. It's been well documented already.
Yeah, head coach Carly Dockendorf talks about this aggressive mistake. She was trying so hard for that handstand, didn't work out, and then Alani played it safe here in the 6th spot and had a fall. And then on beam, they came back, triple series difficulty, and they got Miley O'Keefe in that lineup. So there's some sort of breathing room whenever she gets on the beam. Headed to floor, Abby Paulson just lights out here from start to finish. It's been a strong event for them. They've had so much confidence, so much consistency, and then to finish on vault, it was one of their best vault rotations. A few stuck landings, Jaden Rucker coming back after a fall from the regional semifinals to have redemption in the biggest moment. What a celebration for Utah.
So congratulations to Utah. They punched their ticket to the NCAA semifinals. Well, the other head coach and team that punched their ticket left no room for doubt in today's competition. It's Jenny Rowland and the Florida Gators. Jenny, I'll be honest, you're coming off an SEC championships that had some mistakes. And I think a lot of people were looking at this meet going, what can we expect from Florida? Did you see this coming? Because this is the best meet you guys have had this season, a season high score, in fact.
Not a surprise. It really was a practice for us. Yes, I know there are a lot of doubters after SECs, and you know what? Sometimes you need that just to reset, refuel that fire, and this team really took that competition. We came home, we worked, we kept grinding, we kept doing what we do, and extremely proud of this team for coming out strong.
A lot of people second guessed your decision to start on beam at the SEC championships, but you said there was going to be a moment where it would show up. How happy are you, and how pivotal was that decision to the success you had today?
I can't say either way. It was a decision we made. It was a decision that we felt that there was purpose and there was meaning behind it, and knew that there was a potential to move forward and starting in this rotation. So it was important to give it a try and get this team out there, get a little uncomfortable on beam first. However, this team just all year long has been so solid and so strong on team. I had no doubt, and truly they didn't either.
Jenny, I'm going to give you the credit you won't give yourself. That was brilliant. Starting on beam, getting that experience, and it paid off. Congratulations to you. We're very much looking forward to seeing what you guys have up your sleeve at the NCAA championships, because we know it's going to be exciting. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Go Gators.
So there you have it. Florida Gators and the Utah Utes will be advancing from this region into the NCAA semifinals April 18th. Definitely going to be a good one, Sam.
Yeah, man, the competition is so tough. It was really good experience for these teams to make it through regionals because they're pressure tested at this point, and certainly Utah is going to go back in the gym and figure out how to never let those mistakes happen in those pivotal moments. It's uncharacteristic, I think, from them, from what we've seen all season long, and I think they're only going to use it as fuel moving forward.
I think you're right. You know, I've been in those situations as a gymnast too, where those mistakes give you an edge, and they kind of put your mind on notice and make you just a little bit sharper as Utah. Oh, how much fun putting up the sticker. But I think you might be right. They're going to go back and they're going to be as sharp as they've been all season, I think, when they get to the NCAA championships.
Well, they have so much more fuel in the tank. I mean, think about all the mistakes they had today, big mistakes. And they know that they're a better team, and it's going to show up, I think, at a time where it matters even more than it did tonight.
So the moment the hometown crowd here in the O-Dome has been waiting for, Florida Gators get to put the sticker up. They're even going to let a freshman get in on the action. Anya Pilgrim. They're going right to the front.
They're the
I guess
regional champion.
There you go, the regional champ spot. Hey, it says it. You got to take it and be proud of it. What a performance from the Gators. We were at the SEC championship, Sam. Did you see this coming from Florida?
You know, you talk about moments in competition where there's mistakes and it fuels you. That's Florida here tonight. They had those mistakes at SECs, and it did not show up in the meet today. They have a lot of newcomers, a lot of freshmen, and a lot of other upperclassmen that didn't have very much experience competing all season long, because you had the Kayla DiCellos, the Trinity Thomas, the Riley McCuskers. And so for these athletes, not only to get experience all season long, to get better, and now have the confidence to show up in the postseason, I'm excited to see what they do at NCAA championships.
So those are your teams that will advance. So also the highest individual after the teams, of course, go on. Also qualifying each event in the all-around. Lily Smith, the outstanding freshman from Georgia. She has that all-around spot. Emma Silverman from Maryland gets the vault. Maratita Sorley gets the bar spot. And Nikki Smith and Kyla Schulte, beam and floor. How about that Lily Smith, from Georgia, Sam?
She's just a freshman and is stunning to watch on all four events. Been consistent throughout the season. And I'm excited to see how she ranks at NCAA championships.
Well, if this hasn't gotten you all excited for the NCAA championships, I can't help you. You got to tune in, but don't think about that quite yet, because there's more gymnastics coming up later tonight. The regional final from Cal at 8 p.m. Eastern right here on ESPN+. Cal, Denver, Stanford, and Arizona State will battle it out for those two spots at the NCAA championship. For Sam Pesek and our amazing production crew, I am John Roethlisberger. So long from Gainesville.